Can you hear me?
Can you believe a little louder?
Yeah, sure. Om Shanti. Is it okay? Loud
Yes, it's
enough?
fine.
Okay. So today's the Murli of, let me see, 5th December. Do we have the Murli this week? Yeah, today is the Murli of 10th December 1994. The sign of completing the old accounts. Bap Dada spoke this Murli after an incident took place in Bharat, in Bhopal, India on 2nd December 1984, when over 40 tons of lethal gases leaked from a factory in Bhopal, killing thousands of people. Today, Bap Dada has taken the support of this corporeal body and come to meet his corporeal children in the corporeal world. Bap Dada is looking at the unshakable and immovable children amidst the upheaval of the world at the present time. That is, in the world with the atmosphere of sorrow. He is seeing the lotus flowers who, whilst living amidst upheaval, remain detached and loving to the Father. He is seeing the fearless children who are embodiments of power, who are living amidst an atmosphere of fear. He is seeing the carefree emperors who are world transformers. You are such carefree emperors that there cannot be the slightest trace of influence on you from anywhere in the atmosphere of worry. At present, the majority of the souls in the world have worry and fear, in particular in them. However, to the extent that they worry, to that extent, you have positive thoughts for them. You have changed worrying into being an embodiment of having pure and positive thoughts for them. Instead of being fearful, you are singing songs of happiness. You are experiencing this much transformation, are you not? You are those who give everyone in the you are those who give everyone a drop of peace and happiness by constantly having pure and positive thoughts for others. You are those who become immortal images and give souls who have experienced untimely death the cooperation of peace and power. You are those who give everyone a drop of peace and happiness by constantly having pure and positive thoughts for others and serving others through your mind and good wishes and pure feelings. And so you are those who become immortal images and give souls who have experienced untimely death the cooperation of peace and power, because it is at present the season of untimely death. Just as there are sudden hurricanes and storms, in the same way, storms of death take with them many altogether, suddenly and very quickly. The storms of untimely death have only just begun. Especially in Bharat, it is civil war and natural calamities that become instruments for transformation every cycle. The form of transformation abroad is different. However, in Bharat, it is these two things, especially that are instrumental, and you are seeing rehearsals of both these things. Both are playing their parts at the same time. You children asked how and why there are so many deaths at the same time. What is the reason for this? You know and also experience that the time of completion is coming close. So, when the time of completion is coming close, it is also the time for the accounts to be settled. So, it is now the time for the accounts also to be settled. Sorry. So, Baba is talking about civil war, and there will be, in Hindi, it is said, khune na hai khel, which means that unnecessarily, without any provocation, there will be death. So, why is it like this? So, and Baba is saying that it's the time of the cycle when the accounts need to be settled. And when the accounts are being settled and the time is very less, and it is the accounts of so many births. So it is uh, through uh, it is through birth and death that the accounts are being settled. So quick deaths and quick births in succession that will lead to settling of accounts. That is also where Dharmraj, the accounts are being settled. So Baba is saying in the Murli that what we need to do at the time when such an upheaval is taking place, and also how we should take care of our own karmic accounts so that we can settle our accounts before the time comes. And so Baba is saying what will happen in the final period. You children asked, and so Baba is giving the response. You know and also experience that the time for completion is coming close. All the accounts of sinful actions and sins performed by all souls in the copper and iron ages that still remain have to be completed in full, because everyone now has to return home. In the fruit, return of actions performed and sins committed from copper age, if they are not settled in one birth, they will continue in the next birth of accounts of settlement or attainment. However, it is now the final period, and the accounts of sin are greater. This is why the old accounts of many souls are being settled by the punishment of quick birth and a quick death. Therefore, at present, death is painful, and the majority also take birth with a lot of pain and sorrow. Neither is death easy, nor is birth easy. So, painful death and being born through suffering is the means to settle the karmic accounts quickly. Just as methods are useful to kill small ants, big ants, mosquitoes, etc., and mosquitoes and many types of germs and ants can be destroyed at the same time with those methods. In the same way, human beings of today are experiencing untimely deaths like mosquitoes. So it is a time where a lot of untimely deaths are happening, just like mosquitoes. So the analogy is, you know, ants uh, are killed in huge numbers. So when Baba also tells in the Murli that we'll go just like the mosquitoes. The Hindi word is मच्छरों जैसा सभी जाएंगे. So in a big number, in a wholesale manner, there's no longer a difference between humans and ants in this respect. Because of all these accounts and because of them finishing for all time, storms of untimely death come from time to time. In the same way, the part of punishment in the land of Dharamraj is also fixed at the end. So punishment will be there in the end. However, that punishment is experienced by souls individually when they settle their karmic accounts. Even whilst souls have many types of karmic accounts, there are three special types. Accounts that a soul has to suffer for himself, for example, illness. Souls settle their own accounts through the illness of their bodies. Another is for one's head to become dull from the influence of some type of evil spirit. Souls themselves experience the suffering of karmic accounts through that type of punishment. Another account is to receive sorrow from relationships and connections. You can understand how that works. The third is the kind of karmic accounts through natural calamities. Therefore, karmic accounts are settled on the basis of all three types. Some karmic accounts will not be settled in the land of Dharmraj with relationships and connections or through natural calamities. They are settled here in the corporeal world. The old accounts of everyone have to finish. Therefore, this machinery of settling accounts, karmic accounts, has to work. Now, at a fast speed. All of this is to happen in the world. Do you understand? So now is the time when the machinery of settling karmic accounts is working at fast speed. These are the karmic accounts of the philosophy of karma. Now check yourself. Have I, the Brahmin soul, settled all my karmic accounts by making intense effort at a fast speed? Or does some burden still remain? Do some of the old accounts still remain, or have they all finished? Do you know the special sign? What is the special sign of that? If any of your sanskars or nature create an obstacle to your being elevated or performing elevated actions. So, what are the special signs for that? If any of your sanskars or nature create an obstacle to your bringing about elevated transformation or performing elevated actions, if you are unable to do as much as you want or as much as you think you want to do, if you say or think in your mind words such as, I don't know why this happens, even against my conscious wish, I don't know what happens. If you have an elevated desire, you have courage and enthusiasm, and yet you feel yourself to be influenced by something. If you say that you shouldn't have done something, that you didn't think about it, but that it happened, that is called being influenced by our own old nature and sanskars, being influenced by bad company, or being influenced by the atmosphere and vibrations. When you have any of these three stages of being influenced, then for something to happen against your conscious wish, for you to be unable to do something, even when you are thinking of doing it, when you do not attain success because of being influenced by something, it is a sign that the burden of some past karmic account still remains. Check yourself against these signs. Does any type of burden bring you down from the experience of the flying stage? To settle accounts means to experience the flying stage. And that flying stage will be experienced within every attainment. If there is attainment only sometimes, then sometimes means that the account still remains. Therefore, check yourself in this way. In the world of sorrow, mountains of situations of sorrow are definitely going to erupt. At such a time, the means of safety is the canopy of Father's protection. You already have the canopy of protection, do you not? Acha. All of you have come to celebrate in the Mela of the meeting. So meeting Bap Dada is like coming in a Mela, in a fun fair. A Mela means a gathering of many people. And so Baba says, meeting Baba is like coming in a Mela, where all of us meet with Bap Dada individually and in a group. So for every time when there is a Baba Milan, We are always in a group, so there are so many souls present, but that meeting is always, it always feels like a personal one. And so Baba's saying, you will not feel fearful in such kind of a mela. No matter how painful a scene may be, if you are in a mela, it will seem like a game. You will not feel fearful. You will continue to sing songs of the meeting and dance in happiness. You will give others the cooperation of courage. Not physical dancing, but this is dancing in happiness. You constantly celebrate the mela, do you know? You also stay in the mela of the meeting. Nevertheless, you have come to Madhuban. So Madhuban is mela, and Bap Dada is also pleased to see the children who celebrate such a mela. The decoration of Madhuban have reached Madhuban. Acha. So children are the decoration of Madhuban. To all the souls who are the form of power and constantly settle their own karmic accounts and enable others to settle their karmic accounts. To the spiritual lotus flowers who, whilst constantly being amidst some sorrow and painful atmosphere, remain detached and loving to the Father. To the elevated souls who constantly have pure and positive thoughts for all souls, Bap Dada's love, remembrance, and namaste. So it's namaste and remembrance to Bap Dada from the spiritual children. Bap Dada speaking to teachers. You are servers, not teachers. Renunciation and tapasya are merged in service. To become a server means to have a right to the mind. Service is such that you remain overflowing at every second. You become so full that you continue to eat from that for half the cycle. So the fruits of service are so much that for half a cycle one can eat from that fruit, from that accumulation. You become so full and you are such servers that you don't need to make effort. Even in that, you are spiritual servers who establish themselves in the awareness of the Spirit and serve the spirits. This is called spiritual service, establishing oneself in the awareness of the Spirit and serving spirits. Bap Dada always gives such spiritual servers the title of spiritual rose. Therefore, all of you are spiritual roses who never wilt. You are those who refresh everyone with the fragrance of your spirituality. To become a server is very elevated fortune. A server means being equal to the Father. Just as the Father is the server, in the same way, you are instrument servers. The Father is unlimited teacher, and you, Baba says, you are also instrument teachers. So, you have attained the fortune of being equal to the Father. Through this elevated fortune, always continue to give others the blessing of imperishable fortune. Very few souls in the whole world have such fortune. So, whilst keeping this special fortune in your awareness, become powerful and continue to make others powerful. Continue to make others fly. Make yourself constantly move forward and also make others move forward. Acha, Om Shanti. So, this is today's Murli, where Baba has talked about serving and how that serving will happen when we move forward individually, and through our flying stage, we are also able to help others move forward and fly. And in that and how to understand if we are also going through uh, a space where karmic accounts become the reason why we can't move forward. So, what the signs and symptoms of having more accounts to settle? And Baba has also talked about increasing one's efforts to remove, to finish the karmic accounts so that we can also help others finish their karmic accounts. So now it is open for Manan Chintan, for churning. So whoever wants to share can share. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, sister. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
For me, this Murli was like a Garuda Puran. I don't know, I think in 1984, some Murli back, Baba again spoke about upheaval, a political upheaval, death of a personality. And this I remember I had lived through it. And just last year, 40 years after that, again, this great devastating industrial disaster, it had come up when the 40 years toxic waste of 1984 was disposed of. So bad it was. And a child over there who had it, the blind children. So I think it's a right thing of asking Baba, why such? And so well he says that is karmic accounts. So those souls who have to face that brutally at that time and still living through it, living through that these 40 years and facing it in the form is really the setting of karmic account. And how well Baba has explained about how the three types of karmic accounts, one is through our own illness, one is through an evil spirit, our natural calamities, and all that he says it doesn't take place in Dharamraj, it takes place here in the corporeal world. So I think we can understand what is going on, and this is just a small piece. And I don't know why yesterday's Murli I could relate it so much, where Baba says, all your old samskars will attack you and it will become an instrument to deceive you at the end. So that's what we have to do, I think, now after reading this word. Cremation ceremony of our old samskars, not just kill them, but burn them in the fire of yoga. I think I sometimes the Sunday Murli always gets coincides with the Abhyakt Murli which is read. It's sometimes very nice to know. And how well Baba gave the example of Brahma Baba's tapasya, how he burnt and how he had his renunciation. So after reading all this, I think, as I told you, it looked like a Garuda Puran for me. though it may be past, people are still living. So just see what is karmic account. It's not just one-time settlement. Still living through the like a living death. Many of them are have. What do we do for such souls who are there? They may be still living. So much powerful remembrance. What I call it as a volcanic bhakti. Is, I think, the time of need and powerful remembrance. Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba.
Shanti. Yes, you're very right. When I was reading the Murli, I was reminded of uh, what the coincidence, the connections between the two Murlis. Though the time gap, if you can look at the time, there is so many years in between, but it's so connected. Uh, so very true about settling karmic accounts through tapasya and the comparisons with Tyag, tapasya, and seva that Brahma Baba uh, as you can say as a is making efforts for transformation. So he's an example for us to follow. Yes.
Sister, can you just clarify then what karmic accounts do we settle in the land of Dharamraj? Already these souls have suffered so much natural calamities and all. Can you, because that Baba is not very clearly given here, then what is
Ah.
that karmic accounts other than Baba? I know he puts the TV and he'll say, see what you have done, blah, blah, he does that. But what is the karmic accounts we settle in the land of Dharamraj?
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's not mentioned so clearly in the Murli today, but Baba has clearly mentioned. I think it's more of, as you said very rightly, during the Bhopal gas tragedy, there were so many people who suffered such consequences, people who left their bodies, and there were those who survived and are still suffering from the consequence of that disaster. So that's a long haul way of settling karmic accounts. And there are also accounts like illnesses where the soul is not uh, finishing an account instantly, but it's a long process for some. And they go through such suffering because of the illness. And so that is also a long haul settling of accounts. And also Baba talked about evil spirits and the intellect becoming dull because of the various kind of influences. And today when we look at so many uh, forms of mental illnesses, emotional upheavals or illnesses, and that suffering is also not an instant suffering or settling of accounts in one go or in one sitting, but it is a long, prolonged kind of suffering, which we suffer which people suffer while they are in the corporeal world. And the third type of suffering of natural calamities. Now, that is something that could also be a prolonged suffering, but mostly I think the calamities, especially those who die instantly, for them, probably it is leaving the body and settling the accounts by again taking birth, which is so much more painful because Baba said in the Murli that even the death is painful and the birth is also painful and sorrowful. But there are those also who have to suffer because of the natural calamities. Those who have survived also have to suffer a lot in rebuilding their lives, in rebuilding their houses and properties, and mourning the loss of those who have left and living in some kind of fear. So that is also like a long-term suffering of karmic accounts. I guess in Dharmraj Puri, what Baba said in the Murlis, in Sakar Murlis and Avyak Murlis, so it is the settling of account where uh, the time of suffering may not be much. So in a little time, the experience of suffering would be like experiencing suffering for a very long time, intense kind of suffering, and where Baba said that you will look through the life. Baba will give you a vision of the actions that we have performed, and the reason why we are going through that kind of a suffering. So that is the Dharmraj. I think it would not
So,
be long in space of time, but intense suffering in a little space of time.
so such souls are scot free in Dharamraj, or will Dharamraj sit with that balance? Oh, you have to still settle. Are they left scot free?
Which ones? The one who left their bodies?
Yeah, a long time. See, I have still heard about the 40-year a child who's blind and decapacitated hand going through and all. So such souls already they have suffered in the corporeal world. Will they be scot free in Dharamraj? That's important for us. No? All this is corporeal.
No.
Dharamraj is what is our final gate. So
Yeah.
they'll be free.
I doubt if they're going to be free, because when it is a long-term suffering, it means that one is still free to perform actions. No? One is still free to act. So Baba says in the Murli that even in illness, what should you do? So you should transform that illness from Karam Bhog to Karam Yog. So children who are for 40 years, they have suffered. So for 40 years, even if there is a suffering, but they're still living, and they're still, performing karmic accounts uh, through their words, through their actions, through their feelings. So a lot of the karmic accounts that is being suffered is because of the past birth. But in this time, when they are still around and they can still perform actions, so that is also going to be settled, no, in Dharmarajpuri also. So I don't think anybody will go scot free. Everybody will have to settle their accounts.
Om Shanti. And then Baba also says, to the extent that we settle the karmic accounts, then we will remain light, that extent, right? So the more we settle, the more we feel supposed to feel light. And that means to
Right.
experience a flying stage, right? Within experiencing flying stage means to experience light, right? Right stage. So, so the reason for some of us, or maybe unable to experience the light stage or the flying stage, is because of the burden of karmic account, actually. Which is not allowing us to fly up, which is pulling down the account. So, in a way, all these karmic accounts have to be settled at the earliest, and then will be able to experience that flying stage.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Right. And it is so. In the Murli also, it is the also form of karmic account where there is something that you want, but you still cannot reach it. That is also a suffering uh, for someone who doesn't know that there is a flying stage and a stage of being light, and they are suffering is another thing. But for someone who understands and still are not able to achieve that stage, to feel that lightness, to be able to fly, so that is also kind of a suffering. Um, and so Baba is urging us to be aware of what our karmic accounts are like and to settle them, so that not only are we able to fly ourselves, but we are able to help others. also reach their karmic settlement and to be able to fly and become light.
So this neither death nor birth uh, going to be easy, Baba says, because that is also part of karmic accounts that is getting settled. So in that account, if we take in this world, right, we see many people. Even I saw many people that very old people. They are not leaving their body, since they are still suffering with so many diseases. At the same time, young people who do not have any sort of a disease or any symptom of disease suddenly die on the spot. This sort of death is taking place a lot, and some who are very old with so many diseases, they are not dead. They are settling. They are bedridden and actually eating that sufferings. Whereas others, some people, they have no sign of any diseases, but suddenly something happens and then they leave the costume. So that is very much is taking place today's world. I noticed. I'm sure you all might have seen.
Yes, that is true. And so today in the Murli also Baba has cleared that, right? That there will be quick deaths and quick births. So because both death and birth are painful. Yeah. And also I'd like to bring the focus to serving, and how Baba said that, you are servers and you need to serve and to bring elevated fortune to others by being elevated ourselves. So the focus of us children is to elevate ourselves to a state of consciousness, to a state of awareness, and to a state of being where we are light, we are able to fly, and we can serve others who are stuck in some way in their karmic accounts. And we are able to bless others also. Yes, and to remember that yes, we are under the canopy of God's protection, and God's remembrance is the canopy of His protection. So Baba will always constantly remind children to remember, to remember, to remember, to always be in the remembrance.
And then just adding on to this, what Baba said about the Dharmarajpuri. So, punishment in Dharmarajpuri, I heard that is very severe than the punishment that we have in the corporeal world. So, one thing is in the corporeal world, when the punishment happens, there are many people to support us, even including Baba. Brahmins and also the relations, they all will be there with us, and they will give us all the sustenance and all the support that we need. But when the punishment takes place in Dharmarajpuri, there nobody will be supporting us, and therefore, it is very severe, and um, I mean, and that too happens in front of everyone, it seems. Uh, so the punishment with that we get when we have the body and we don't have the body, right? With the subtle body, Dharmarajpuri punishment. So how is that different between this corporeal and corporeal punishment and subtle body punishment? Sister, can you throw some light?
Sister,
Yes.
uh, I remember, when the brother was mentioning about Dharamraj, in my younger days in the Gyan, I used to be very close to Dadi Prakashmani and Edward. So I very jokingly told her, "Oh, I have no fear. When I cross Dharamraj, y'all are going to be one of the 8 people standing there. So I'm just going to tell you hi, and then you will just show your eye to this person, allow her to pass." And then she told me, she said, "I won't even know who you are. And I won't even see who you are. We are such different. Where I said, but how can it be? You are a soul, I am a soul." She said, "There it's nothing. I am right hand to Dharmaraj over there. I'll have nothing. So better don't think that you'll get such kind of passes and all over there. There'll be nothing." I just remember that because those days there was this Dharmaraj Murli and all passing the gate. So I, I was just thinking, and now when you just spoke about the Scotland, something came in my mind. See, we do Sakash and all Sunday, third Sunday meditation. I think we should have a program for these kind of souls to see that they really come out and, as you said, from the Karma Bhog, they do Karma Yoga. Such souls, I don't know how we are going to locate them, how we are going to. I would really love to sit. I have seen one or two children when I visited Bhopal, Now that child I remember was 36 years, blind, still that plaster over the eye. But I don't know the child. So I think that I was just thinking about that type of seva. Something it's so much, there is left to do and such little time we have even now. So many souls are going through. I just want to share this much.
Yes. There is a lot of suffering that is happening at so many levels. Um, so to the for service, Baba has said that you can serve through your angelic form. So you need to be in that form, and we may not know particular cases, but then also you can focus on various uh, parts of the world, and also focus on hospitals where there are so many patients who are suffering, and focus on places where you know that there are going to be people there, souls there who are suffering. So they could be, you could, while doing Mansa Seva, serve. If there has been a particular calamity that you know of, that there has been, an earthquake and so many people are involved, so then you do Sakash for that place. Or when you know there's been an accident somewhere and a lot of people have died, so there also you can give Mansa Seva. And also special focus on hospitals and cancer hospitals and um, jails and institutions like mental institutions. And one can focus on special places in the world where wars are happening, and so you know for certain there is a suffering that's going on. And in general, also Baba says we stay on top of the globe, and then you give out Sakash to the whole world family. So whoever is needing it, and in this time and space, uh, most souls need Sakash. So then you're helping everyone. So in particular, also if you know of someone, or in general, also if you don't know anyone in particular, but you can still offer Sakash. Uh, so just like in Dharmrajpuri, Dadi said that you will not know who you are. they will not know each other. So the eight who will be sitting in the tribunal will not know specific souls. They will be Dharamraj. So even I think while serving, we will not know specific souls, but we are still, Baba today said that you should have pure feelings and have good vibrations for everyone. So that is the way in which we can serve. And coming back to the question, brother, you said you asked about the severity of punishment in Dharmrajpuri.
No, I said you should give us such kind. You already gave us 3 or 4 sitting on the globe and all. I think we hear so much, sister. But like the tawa mein pani, now I leave this Murli and I go out and I don't know how that kind of thing which we have, like Samshan by Ragya or something. We forget it. That's what pains me at times. What happens to the determination we have when we hear the pain? But after some time, I don't know that determination. It chokes us now, but later I don't know how we just filter it out. I think that is where Baba says Amrit Pilai. But final question, sister, do you know, is there any Wikipedia or Google? How does Dharamraj, that punishment and suffering, how does he create? Because Baba himself said, "Mujhe main nahi janta hu." In one Murli he said, "I don't know how Dharamraj does. I am." Do you
Yeah.
think is there any Wikipedia for it? Garuda Puran, there is.
Yeah, so
I've
even
never
my
tried it.
question, yeah, was also something like that. See, we know
Yes, sir.
when it is when experiencing punishment or pain through corporeal body that we know, but when it comes to settled body, how does it work?
So when it is a subtle body, yes, when it is a subtle body, I think the soul experiences everything, and the body is the means of experiencing it. So the realization is what the idea of punishment. Uh, if you look at it, the idea of punishment is transformation. So that one transforms and overcomes whatever weakness or tendencies that one has. And so one is through corporeal means that you understand there are consequences and suffering to actions. And so then one's own suffering will help one become sensitive to the suffering that we have caused to other people. In the subtle form, I think it should be more spiritual in terms of realization and a deep understanding and a deep feeling of, that suffering. Uh, Baba says in the Murli that there is the fire of yoga, but there is also the fire of regret, that the regret of doing something. So, in that regret, in that fire, it is that fire that will help you to burn the accounts, settle the accounts of old sins. So, yeah, it would be like an intense fire, an intense realization. Sometimes when even in this world, it might not be as strong as that in Dhanrajpuri, but also we experience situations where there is an intense realization about something, and then there is a deep change. So with that realization, it would be a deep change the soul will experience, a permanent change, so-called, not necessarily permanent. There's nothing like permanent, but for a long, long time, the soul will, understand the consequence, and uh, if it is a lesson of love, it's a lesson of forgiveness. It's a lesson of uh, sharing and caring. Whatever the lesson is, it is the soul that learns it through deep realization and regret. Uh, so I remember in one of the Murlis, Baba had said, it is the fire of regret that so many souls they will have, especially in Brahmins. there would be a line of those who have regret, and that regret, it will cleanse. That fire of regret will cleanse the soul. And yeah, so today's Murli is very, very interesting. Uh, because it's so close in terms of time also, and in terms of uh, the final moments and how to settle accounts. And so Baba has said that many times in the movie that, children, you be mindful of the actions that you perform. So, because every karmic account needs to be settled, so don't become careless. And because you're not just responsible for yourself, but you are also responsible for others. Let us take this time now. I think it's time to wind up, and let us remember Baba. And if a song can be put up, so let us remember Baba. So that song, Om Shanti.
ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा, अब चल कर ले मिलन। परमानंद का अनुभव कर, ओ परमानंद का अनुभव कर, तू धन्य बना जीवन। ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी।
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Thank you, Reena Ben. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Divine Family. See you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Until then, have a blissful day.